Hello everyone, and let's talk about the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This takes place in England. I read this via ebook and I listened via audiobook. This is told in third person. The edition that I listened to while I read along, there were a couple of different variations. It's hard to find a lot of the times, at least for me, when it comes to classics, because this is a classic horror. It's hard to find, especially when there's so many different variations and stuff like that, to find the exact audio version and the exact ebook version or physical version to match up so it's exact like that. And there were a few variations, but not too bad. The audiobook that I listened to was on Everand. And this particular edition that I listened to was narrated by B.J. Harrison, and it was 2 hours and 49 minutes. I started listening to one also on Everand that was narrated by Tim Smith. I don't know how to pronounce the middle name. So Tim Smith, that was 2 hours and 24 minutes. But I had to stop that one because complete sections were omitted. Like a whole paragraph here and there was completely not there. Whereas the one narrated by B.J. Harrison, it might be just a sentence or two here and there. So slight differences, but that one was the closest one to the ebook that I had. The ebook was 67 pages. So this one, there are quite a few, what the heck is few? There are quite a few movie and possibly TV shows, but I know there's a few movie adaptations. I have seen the movie adaptations, and I will say in this particular case, I personally like the movie better than the book. The book was fine. I ended up giving it like a 3-star. My issue with the book is there's a certain aspect that is in the movies that was not in the, or at least in the adaptation that I saw, that was not in the book. And that is that in the book, we are following other people, and they are talking about how they saw this character, whether it's Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde, and they're talking about the situations that they were in, where they were, when this was, and what they saw and what they thought. And that's pretty much it. It's that. And then how certain crimes will have been committed, again, what they saw, how they felt, what happened. But I wanted the perspective from this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde person, and we do not get that in the book. The movie that I particularly saw did get at least some perspectives from Dr. Jekyll / Mr. Hyde, and that's what I wanted. And so I personally thought the book should have been longer to include perspectives from Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. This was originally published in 1886 and was by Robert Louis Stevenson, written by Robert Louis Stevenson. So I personally think it should have been longer and would have had more of a punch or impact had it included or been all from the perspective of Dr. Jekyll / Mr. Hyde. With an occasional third-party POV sprinkled in would have been fine. But this is all third-party. It's all told in third person. All other people observing a particular event and talking about that. That's all it is. And them saying he goes to this house where, like, Mr. Hyde goes to this house that Dr. Jekyll lives, and so they're starting to see that there's a correlation or a connection between Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And that's it. So, and then they end up at one point at his house, and again, because of the connection of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But I personally just would have wanted from the perspective of Dr. Jekyll and from the perspective of Mr. Hyde. So for me, it was okay. It was still an interesting read. I still recommend it, especially if you have not seen any of the adaptations. Even if you have, I would still say it's worth a read. It's just from the perspective that I want. I am the type of person that when I like to watch stuff like true crime a lot, or a lot of, it's not true crime on YouTube, it's true crime commentary type of a thing, where they delve into the past and like journal entries from the people that committed murders or other crimes, how they grew up, and so that you know more about why they did what they did. That's the psychology of that is what fascinates me. Why people do what they do. What turns them from trying to live a good, productive, honest life to one of crime. That is the shift that fascinates me. And you don't get that in this book. And so, I mean, you don't get it in a lot of mystery and horror books, but I like it when the horror book is either told from one, the perspective of the victim and what they are going through and what they are experiencing, or number two, from the perspective of the criminal, so the murderer or someone like that. When it is told from someone that is removed, that's on the outside looking in, where there's really no connection other than witnessing a certain little blip or a certain little event, it's to me, okay? We're just going to leave it at that. So that's what it is. As far as your content and your trigger warnings, just be aware this was published in 1886. So there's not really a lot to say with 67 pages. And again, in my edition, to where it would definitely have sexism, classism, things like that. But I would say just assume it's there, and then it's up to you as far as how bad it is and blatant it is. And things like that. So, because I could have just been kind of zoning out on part of it and missed some things. So I would assume it is there. And I believe there is some commentary here and there about some of this stuff, especially how women are treated and the role of men and things like that. But yeah, we'll just leave it at that. As far as the words, you have the word tramp one time, hellish twice, damn 3, queer twice, used in more of something being odd or strange. You have the word God 24, usually not religious, sometimes it was. The word gay one time. And I want to say this was that someone could possibly have been gay or that they were happy. I don't remember. Sometimes if something's not grabbing my interest, which this did not really particularly grab my interest, I kind of zone out a little bit when I'm reading, but I still marked these words down for you so that you know if this passes your threshold of what you can tolerate. The word ass comes up once, suicide 3 times. You do have the F slur. So there is just a little bit of homophobia in this. So the F slur, the slur used for someone that is gay, 1 time, and then the word hell twice. So again, just keep in mind this was published in 1886, so things like that are a little bit more common in things published at that time. So let me know, have you read The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or have you only seen a movie adaptation? If either of those, definitely let me know. And if you have read the book and seen a movie adaptation, which one is your favorite? Do you prefer the movie or do you prefer the book in this case? Let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.